Today, we journey back to a pivotal moment in history, where Ethiopia shocked the world and the flame of resistance burned brighter than ever. This is Ethiopia unconquered. The Battle of Adwa. This is the story of how Ethiopia became the only African nation to never be colonized. Africa, a continent carved by the hands of colonial powers in the 19th century. Nations fell, borders were redrawn, and cultures were suppressed. But amidst this wave of conquest, one nation stood unbroken, its spirit unyielding. Ethiopia, a land of ancient kings, fierce warriors, and an unshakable will to remain free. By 1895, Italy had set its sights on Ethiopia, aiming to expand its colonial empire. Under the Treaty of Wuchale, Italy claimed a protectorate over Ethiopia, but Emperor Menelik II saw through the deception. The treaty, written in both Amharic and Italian, contained discrepancies that Italy tried to exploit. But Menelik, a wise and visionary leader, refused to bow to foreign domination. Menelik II called upon the diverse peoples of Ethiopia to unite against the common enemy. From the highlands of Tigray to the plains of Shua, warriors answered the call. An army of over 100,000 strong, including cavalry, infantry, and even women warriors, marched to face the Italian forces. On March 1, 1896, the two forces clashed at Adwa. The Italian army, led by General Baratieri, was confident in its superior weaponry. But they underestimated the terrain, the determination of the Ethiopian forces, and the brilliant tactics of their leaders. The Ethiopian forces, numbering over 100,000, were divided into three main divisions, each led by skilled commanders. Emperor Menelik II commanded the center, Empress Taytu Betul led the rear guard, and Rasa Lula and other generals commanded the flanks. The Italians, on the other hand, were divided into 4 brigades, separated by the difficult terrain and poor communication. As the Italians advanced, they found themselves trapped in the narrow valleys and steep hills of Adwa. Their movements were slow and disorganized, and their supply lines were stretched thin. The Ethiopian forces, familiar with the terrain, used it to their advantage, launching coordinated attacks from all sides. The fighting was fierce and relentless. Ethiopian warriors, armed with rifles, spears, and swords, closed in on the Italian positions. The Italians, though well-armed, were unable to withstand the sheer force and determination of the Ethiopian assault. By midday, the Italian brigades were in full retreat, their lines broken and their morale shattered. Emperor Menelik II himself led the final charge, inspiring his troops with his presence and courage. The Italian forces, now completely surrounded, fought desperately but were no match for the Ethiopian warriors. By nightfall, the battle was over. The Italians had suffered a crushing defeat, with over 6,000 soldiers killed and thousands more captured. Ethiopian losses, though significant, were far fewer in comparison. The victory at Adwa sent shockwaves across the world. Ethiopia had not only defended its independence, but had also become a symbol of resistance against colonialism. The Treaty of Addis Ababa was signed, recognizing Ethiopia's sovereignty and ending Italy's ambitions in the region. The victory at Adwa in 1896 was more than just a military triumph. It was a symbol of hope for all of Africa. Ethiopia had defied the odds, becoming the only African nation to successfully resist European colonization. But the story of Ethiopia's struggle for freedom was far from over. Decades later, the shadow of colonialism would return, and Ethiopia would once again find itself at the center of a global conflict.
Hey, I'm the creator for Curious Contraband. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing or leaving a comment below. I do all the work myself and spend many hours on my videos. Any interaction would be greatly appreciated. Thank you for the support.